In a previous video, I had mentioned that I'm going to be redoing Dollar Tree picture frames and making my own, and these two are next on the list. Now, I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do these frames. I do not believe I am going to add the rope feature in the frame. I personally don't like it that much, but I'm going to try to replicate it otherwise. We'll see how it works out. I broke down the frame to its most basic components, and what I'm going to be doing is making the molding. And I was trying to debate on what kind of wood to use, and I have this wood here that came from old schoolhouse desks from the 1950s. And I've got quite a bit of this wood. It's nice, good, solid wood. I suspect it. I don't think it's oak or anything, but it's good stuff. It's pretty well dried. And I'm going to use it. So I got two pieces down. I'm probably not going to need but one of them. Since it's recycled lumber, I ran a metal detector to make sure there wasn't any metal in it, and I'm 99% certain there isn't. These are coming along very nicely. So what I have here is I've cut out the relief for the picture and the glass and the backing. And then I've cut the lower relief on the inside, which matches, if we should show it this way, this right here. So I've basically cut these two pieces out right here. So now I've got to find the appropriate bit, and I'm going to use a router to cut this little inset here. Okay, this is the frame that I started out with to replicate, and this is what it's going to look like when it gets glued up. I'm actually rather pleased on how this is looking. These carbon gouges work really good to clean out the glue. What I'm doing is I wrap the sandpaper around this dowel, which happens to be the same radius as the bit that I used, and I'm sanding the inside. And I've gone from I started at 120, and now I'm using 320 as the grit. And reason specifically why I'm using the dowel as a sanding block is because I want these edges to remain sharp. And if I were using just my fingers, then I'd have a tendency to dull the edges. This frame is fully sanded and it is ready for the finish. I decided I'm going to start off with the vinegar steel wool mixture. This is an example of what I'm going to be doing. This is 3 coats of that. One thing, whenever you color picture frames in any way, stain or whatever, make sure you catch the inside of the groove here, because when you put the glass in, the reflection is going to show the uncolored wood. So make sure you do both sides on the picture frame. You don't have to do this area here, but it doesn't hurt anything if you do. It just, and I tend to do it just because I spill a little anyway. So, but make sure you get this area, because if you don't, then you'll be sorry. And what I just do is I slather it on, and then I'm not even going to wait. I just flip it over and then do the other side. It's really not, there's no real mystery. You can't do too much, you can't do too little. You can do too little, yes you can, but you can't do too much. And then make sure, don't forget the sides. Now, one thing you're going to know right away too is if you left any glue on your project, it's not going to soak this up. So you'll know where you need to attack it again with sanding. I have put 3 coats of the wood ebonizer on, and this particular wood didn't go very dark, but it still has to dry. So the wood ebonizer has dried, and this has been set overnight to dry, and it leaves a chalky consistency on the outside. Now this is actually what the wood ebonizer is supposed to look like when it's completed. Depending on the wood species, it'll be darker or less dark. But what it's really doing is trying to make an aged look. It's been sitting out in the weather for years, and it looks all chalky and nasty, really. I don't particularly like this as the end result of this product. So what I will do is I will actually sand off most of this chalkiness. Now, I will do a particularly bad job at sanding because I want to leave some of it, because it will react for the finish when I spray the finish on. So now, if you'll notice, front and back, it's got the chalkiness, sides too, but it's not finished yet, in my opinion. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to resand it to 320 grit, and then I will put a polyurethane finish on top of it. Resanding will do 2 things. It will remove most of this chalkiness, and then the color of the wood will show through, which will be a browner color than it originally was, and it will also remove any raised grain that happened because of the vinegar. I always make sure to clean the glass as best as I can before I insert it into the frame. And then here we go. Here's a picture of Lake Michigan near Saginaw. And we put that in there. And then the plywood backing that I cut. And then I have this nail press that I really like, and just press that in, just like that. There we go. Wipe off the dust. I really like to use a paper backing because a dust cover, because it looks good. It's a finished look. In the past I used double stick tape, and I always had a problem with the double stick tape not wanting to stick to the picture frame. So I discovered I get this school glue. Now this is purple. It turns clear. But this school paste glue, and I can easily press that onto the wood. I don't have to worry about it going away and not sticking. Alright, just kind of lather it on. And here's the other frame. Lather that on. There we go. Kind of press that in. There you go. But if anybody's looking that close, they're looking too close. You know, you can't turn back the clock, but you always can wind it up again if it really is that bad. You can just redo it. So, kind of press that down, and that is 2 more picture frames completed. Picture frames are done and are placed on the wall, and I think they came out rather nice.
Oh, I like them.
A little bit better than it was there before, wasn't there?
Better than plastic.
Good. Finally, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10. Good job.